Hello, and welcome back to the SugarSide Podcast. We've got a good one for you here today. I'm Garrett, and as always, I'm joined by the charming, the irresistible, the dangerously attractive Tre. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm good, man.
Every week I gotta do it.
No,
there's only so many adjectives in the thesaurus that I can pull from.
You've done a pretty good job. I want to make a compilation sometime of all of your intros of me, because I don't think you've said the same thing twice yet. Very seldom.
I don't know. I've thrown well endowed in there a couple of times. I'm going to keep doing it.
But, I'll take that one. I'll take that one as many times as you want to throw it out there. I'm good, man. I'm good. It's the middle of the week, as always. And as much as I am blessed to have the day off on Wednesdays, I never really have a day off. And then I end up just getting emails from home. And I know you know what that's like. So I always laugh with my employees when I go back to work on Thursday. They're like, how was your day off? And I'm like, I talked to you all day yesterday. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like,
what do you mean day off?
Yeah. I'm like, you knew I was working all day. But no, I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm definitely feeling like it's the middle of the week. Actually, even though it's the middle of the week, it feels so late in the week that it's like, is it already next month? Like, it's... I'm exhausted. I've had a lot going on, and it's like a weird transition period where I'm coming off of a lot of like big projects all at once. So like, I don't know. I'm feeling like a lingering adrenaline crash, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But you know what I'm always hyped for, Tre?
What's that?
The SugarSide. And getting into our opener for the last couple of episodes. Buddy, I'm ready to talk some Survivor. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. I mean, this is the first time I've watched a Survivor season. So it's fun to make it this far and be in the loop of everything that's going on. And there's a lot going on in this episode, especially that we got to talk about today. So I'm excited for this one.
Man, Tre, as excited as I am to talk about Survivor, I am not excited to talk about the ending of this episode. So where do you want to start? Because, I want to start maybe by throwing out a compliment. I'm going to throw out a compliment. Last season, Rizgod, I just didn't give you the chance that you needed. Because this season, you are becoming one of my favorite Survivor players that I've ever watched.
That's a big compliment coming from you, for sure.
Rizgod, Rizgod, man. He is making great plays. We have been really hyping up how well Suri runs the game.
Totally, yeah.
This episode, she came to Rizgod with a plan, and he was able to persuade her into going in another direction. We'll get there when we get there, but persuade her away from who Suri wanted. And then once he got her to agree with her, that's how the vote went. Because again, if Suri says it's so, it becomes reality.
Right.
And so being able to throw a lasso around her and say, no, I want it this way, and getting his way was incredible to see.
Yeah.
Good for you, Rizgod.
And what confidence to look at such a strong player like that and figure out, if I can just persuade her my direction, she can make what I want happen. A lot of players would be intimidated by her because of the pull and the power that she has in the game.
No, I want to keep saying, it's not coming across as directly tied to him. But if he were to make it to the final three, that's on his resume. He could say, he could look at the jury and say, this vote, they wanted to go for you. But instead, we voted you out. This vote, they wanted to go for you, but instead, we voted you out. And I'm behind that, and be able to point at the jury and be like, look at each other. You're a bunch of idiots. I got you out when I wanted you out.
Yeah, and that's Survivor, I mean, what a case to make to the jury if you make it to the final three, especially at this point post-merger, where every person that gets out is going to be part of the jury. They can only kick themselves, you know? It's like, this is the time to take over the game the way that he's going. It's like, it's great timing too.
You know who I missed on this episode?
Who's that?
I miss Coach already.
Yeah.
I need some haikus in there or some shenanigans that he's up to, and I think that this episode was missing a little bit of that chaotic person, except for Jonathan. Jonathan is driving me crazy. I have it on good authority that he was coached by Boston Rob before this season. And so
Wow.
I think that he is specifically acting and making decisions and behaving a certain way because of his experience with working with Boston Rob on strategy. But man, he's really pissing me off. I want Jonathan out of there. He made a good move this week, and so let's just cut to the chase.
Let's cut to the chase. We gotta nip it in the bud.
Christian met the end of his days on this episode, and part of it is because Jonathan convinced him to give him his shot in the dark.
Yeah.
That really sucks. He was like, give it to me, you can trust me. And then he was like, now that I have it, we're voting for him.
Right.
And Tre, I'm just going to give a very heartfelt, sentimental, fuck you, Jimmy Fallon. Fuck you. Fuck you. The celebrity interference on this season of Survivor is going, like, I'm going to become like a criminal because of this, okay? Like, something's going to happen.
They've all been pretty awful. Every single one has been terrible.
Gosh. This one was awful. They cut, I think, a part of what the twist with Jimmy Fallon was because Christian lost the challenge.
Shot in the dark. Yeah.
The note is on the screen for like half a second. That's enough time to do some reading.
Yeah, right.
And you can see that had he won, he would have gotten to put a vote into the urn right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he also would have like gotten another extra vote, I think, was something along those lines. So there was more to it than just putting the one vote into the one in the urn, but it didn't matter because he lost. And you know what? For all the challenges on planet Earth, that is the one that I expect Christian to win. So I was very disappointed in my boy that he got stuck on like one piece and then couldn't finish the puzzle. He's the puzzle guy.
Yeah.
He's the puzzle guy.
That's what he does. Yeah. So like, what a challenge to lose. And, it's all the way around. This was a really sad day to be a Christian fan, especially to pick him for your top 3.
And then to have Christian instead be the first player in Survivor history to have to write his own name down on Tribal Council night. That's like so insulting to my boy. Why'd you make him do that? Just have him lose the challenge and just end it there. Why do you have to do that? He sealed his own fate. It really sucks. There was not that much strategy to be had on this episode because, I mean, when it lines itself up that way, like he has to vote for himself and he doesn't have his shot in the dark. That's a layup. You absolutely vote that person out. So, like, am I upset with the tribe, the cast for voting Christian out? No. It's obviously the right play to make. It just really sucks that it had to be Christian.
Yeah.
Didn't he only go on the challenge from like a rock, paper, scissors?
I think so. Yeah.
That's not fair. It could have been anyone.
It could have been anyone. It could have been anyone. And, his time just came. That's rough. So you got one left in your
I've got one left out of my top 3 that I picked because, again, let's recap it. I chose Camilla, gone, Christian, gone, and I have Aubrey left. And Aubrey, I don't know if she's going to make it to the final 3. I have not loved how, like, Aubrey's game is being edited. She's not getting an awesome edit like some of these other people.
Yeah.
So I really don't know what to expect. I mean, Aubrey knows that she is seen as a threat. I think her days are numbered.
Yeah. Do you think there's a way that Aubrey could be playing the game differently that would give her a better edit or put her in a better light?
No, not particularly. I think that it's just kind of how the way things have shaken out so far. But she hasn't really connected with the right people. But again, I don't know if she ever was going to because of the reputation that's already there. So
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not liking my odds this season. Last season, season 49, I had 2 of my 3 make it to the top 3, and one of them won.
Yeah,
Like, that is a good Survivor
a
draft.
perfect
Not
pick for
this
sure.
season. I'm getting my ass kicked.
Yeah, but I think, the people that you picked weren't bad picks. They just get caught in really shitty situations. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's by their own fault and sometimes it hasn't been, but it's not like they really fucked up that bad, you know? The worst you could say is like Christian didn't win this challenge, like you said. But like to
Yeah.
have to do the challenge at all off of rock, paper, scissors, and then the whole shot in the dark situation, like that was the wrong clock struck right twice, lightning struck twice on that one. And that's just an unfortunate way to go for sure.
Here, I've been too negative about this season of Survivor. I gotta throw one thing in that I've been enjoying. Jeff is unhinged this season.
Yeah.
Like the rapping, the fact that he participated in this challenge, he's never participated. That montage that they showed of Jeff saying some of the meanest things in Survivor history was one of the best montages I've seen on the show, where he's like,
Yeah.
pathetic, you suck, go home. Like, I love all that. I hope that they were maybe dipping their toes in the water to see how people would respond to that, and if Jeff could be taking that sassy level back up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a certain point. I mean, this is goofy to say because it's not like a big deal that this happened, but I do think that this marked where Jeff kind of toned it down a little bit.
Hmm.
For 30 seasons, he would say, "Come on in, guys." And one season, he asked if that was like offensive to use the word guys.
Guys,
And
yeah.
so from then on, he's just said, "Come on in." But I think from that moment is also where they were like, "You got to tone it down on like all fronts."
Yeah.
And so I think that montage might have been them like dipping the toes in the water, like, can Jeff be mean again?
Yeah. And I think it's also a call to like, can we have TV anywhere near the way that we used to have TV? Because when Survivor was at its peak, like we had The Biggest Loser, we had Fear Factor with Joe Rogan, we had these shows that like all the hosts and the coaches on the show just took it to the nth degree. Where watching, you were like, oh my God, like, can they say that to people? And nowadays you just can't for a lot of reasons because it's not worth it for the response that you'll get. So I agree with you. I think they're probably looking at it like, no, that was fucking funny. Like, let's see if America can handle it because
really
it's awesome
funny.
and we miss it.
Oh man, I mean, one of my go-to Jeff quotes is when he says something and Jonathan is on a different Jonathan.
Yeah.
Is like in a kayak and he goes, "Oh, please, Jeff." And then Jeff goes, "Jonathan, getting frustrated by me." I love that line. I love Jonathan getting frustrated at me. Like, just give me more of that, Jeff.
Give me more
So
of that,
there's my
Jeff, man.
compliment. Jeff this season is like living his best life. Okay, I'm all there for Jeff being a little weirdo.
As he should for season 50, man. He's earned it. He's
earned it. Yeah, for sure. Tre, this episode ends with the sneak peek at tonight's episode, and this is the MrBeast episode. I've seen a lot of posts already saying like, "MrBeast, if you do anything to fuck up Cerie's game, I will come after you." And like, because so far the track record is that once that person is involved, it's the worst thing that could ever happen to someone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Jimmy Fallon, dude, first of all, I never liked you in the first place, but now I really don't like you. Out of all the late night hosts, you were my least favorite by far. And that's what you come up with and you kill Christian. I did see, that Christian, his confessional is one of my favorites that I've ever seen, where he's like, "I look forward to your apology, Jimmy Fallon." And then Jimmy Fallon did have him on and he apologized to him on the Tonight Show. So
that's awesome.
But yeah, fuck you, Jimmy Fallon, and fuck all these guys. Stay out of Survivor, dude. If that was something that they were testing, I hope it fails. Like, I'm in the audience of like, no, never do this again.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on what they were going for, right? Because like, if they were doing it as a trial to see how it would shake up the game, regardless of how drastic that shakeup is, they got what they wanted because every single celebrity has just absolutely ruined someone's week, But like from a Survivor fan perspective, I'm curious as to how the collective feels. Do you have anything on your timeline of like responses similar to yours, or are people kind of,
Uh,
you know, not
I
feeling
get a lot
50
of
about
the
it?
people saying keep the celebrities out, but to your point, you did just make me kind of rethink myself a little bit. I mean, last season I did complain that like Survivor was maybe feeling a little stale. So I can't have it both ways, right?
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
need to be able, like recognize that at least they're trying to do something weird.
Yeah. And it's funny because I feel like ironically, it's really fucked up your game more
Oh
than
yeah.
anything else. Like I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that are like, fuck yeah, Christian went home. Like if you weren't a Christian fan, this episode was awesome. So it's like,
Yeah.
and they're probably like, go Jimmy Fallon. So it's like it's one of those things where you just kind of got a bad roll of the dice and just picked people that happen to be negatively affected by these, but it did spice up the game for sure. And there was a
Yeah.
lot of twists that you wouldn't have seen coming. So they probably got what they wanted out of it, but that's hilarious. Your Jimmy Fallon rant, my mind immediately went to him having like, a secret picture of it on his desk of like you on After Hours, and like a single tear falls and he has to just like turn it down. Like he's like,
Jimmy
your
Fallon is
least
secretly
favorite.
my biggest
Yeah,
fan, and so now that I've said that, he's like, yeah, exactly, just a tear.
he's absolutely crushed when he
Yeah.
said that he's your least favorite late night talk show host. He's like,
Let me clarify. By far. Yeah.
Jimmy
Yeah.
Fallon, please
Kimmel,
invite Shuby
20
on the
layers
show.
of dog shit. Jimmy Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon, please invite Garrett and AKA Shuby on the show. You won't be disappointed if you have him as a guest on your show.
I will
promise
have
you.
stuff to say to you, Jimmy Fallon.
That's so funny, my friend. Okay. Are we all wrapped up on Survivor, ready to pass to our
I
game?
think so. I think so. Let's keep our eye out on the MrBeast episode tonight and be ready to talk about that next time.
Have you ever watched the MrBeast show?
I did a little bit, but it actually like made me nauseous for like human like society. I was
Yeah.
like, this is horrific. Like
Yeah.
1,000 contestants and like I don't know. It just felt like how do I say this? I don't know. Like
Yeah.
how would I
It's
don't know
kind
what
of
I would say
crazy.
to describe this. It's evil.
No, totally. And the some of the things I've just seen clips and like heard other podcasts talk about certain episodes and stuff. Some of the things and choices that they make people make is kind of crazy. Like
Yeah.
I've heard some games where they'll have $1 million up for grabs, right? And you randomly get selected or you win a challenge and to determine which order you get to choose that money. And there's people after you, but they don't know what you chose until their turn comes up. And so you can choose to take the $1 million for yourself as the first person and literally have to stand there and just like fuck you to everybody else, or you can split it however you like, and they just make people choose. And it's like
Yeah.
right, like it's like you said, it's evil. Like they literally encourage people to be actually evil.
No, I feel like Beast Games is maybe like a soft launch of the Hunger Games. It's like, how can we maybe get to the Hunger Games? Like, you know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
just trying.
I mean, between like how many influencers would it take to have enough money piled together to actually make the Hunger Games in like a whole country? They could probably do it right now if they really
You
wanted.
think that we could just go straight into Hunger Games where people are actually killing each other?
I mean, if you put MrBeast, I Show Speed, and the Paul brothers together, they could make it happen, man. And it would be on Netflix for whoever's not there to see. They could do it next week if they wanted to.
Oh my gosh. Today, I've built an arena, and these 12 kids are gonna kill each other.
And I Show Speed just in the back, Sue! And like Jake Paul's in
my God.
blackface, dressed up like Drewski. Like the whole thing is already written out. It's already written in the stars.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, I think you're right. We're already there. We're in the dystopia.
They're gonna kill each other. Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, that landed a little late. That's actually hilarious. Okay.
You killed me with that.
So we have a fun game that we're going to pass into. And part of why we decided to do this game is there's been a lot of leaks on the upcoming Avatar: The Last Airbender movie about the Aang Gang, to the point where the whole movie's been leaked multiple times. And
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's clearly not done production-wise, but you can watch the whole thing if you want to. Every time it gets taken down, it gets put back up. And we're still going to watch it 100%. But we realized that we didn't bring that up when the leaks came out, and we haven't really done a lot of ATLA content recently. So we wanted to do an ATLA themed game, and we decided to do a marriage game where Garrett and I will answer the same questions, but we have to guess what the other one's answer to said question will be. And I think this is going to be a fun time.
Just to clarify for our listeners who don't know, it's Avatar: The Last Airbender, because there are some people that will not know what ATLA is. It's like me being like, LOTR. You don't know LOTR?
Yeah, right.
It's
No, that's
Lord of the
fair.
Rings.
That's fair. So Avatar: The Last Airbender, it is the animated show, not the Blue People, for people who don't watch animated content. If you haven't, go watch it. It's the best show of all time. Okay, how did you want to do this? Did you want to go back and forth in our guesses?
Sure, I'm like reading the questions, and then whoever reads the question should be the first to guess, and then the other person guesses.
Okay, sounds good. I can
All right, do you
start.
want to go first then?
Yeah, I got it. Okay, question number 1. Who does your co-host think is the best character in all of Avatar?
And this is our favorite character.
Yeah, no, we interpreted it as our favorite, not the best. We would debate the rest of the podcast time on who's the best character. Maybe not. I think we think it's the same person, but regardless, I think, and I might be wrong, but I think that Garrett's favorite character is Toph.
Sorry, pal.
I
guess you don't love me.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I wrote it and I second guessed it, but I went with my gut, and that's okay.
It's so hard because I feel like any answer would have been like acceptable. You'd be like, yeah, I could see that being your favorite character. Because everyone is great in this show. So no, my favorite character in Avatar, which by the way, I did just watch all the way through again, like not even that long ago with my son. My favorite character is Zuko. It just is. He's a part of too many of my favorite episodes, and his arc and story and character are just like the backbone of that show for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, I can totally understand that.
Yeah. No, I mean, a lot of people's favorite character is Zuko, so I'm not like this unique little princess.
Yeah.
I'm like
Ty Lee.
But it's funny that you say that, though, because I guess that your favorite character is Toph.
You would be right. My favorite character is Toph. She's the best.
1 point Garrett.
1 point Garrett. She's so cool. And, I don't have to talk about Toph because just as many, if not more, people's favorite character is Toph. So I'm also not special in any way, shape, or form. But Toph's awesome. Toph's awesome.
Agreed.
Okay, go ahead.
Next question. What bending style would your co-host choose in real life? This one is definitely my own perspective of you. I think, I grew up watching Tre punch and kick and do all sorts of martial arts, and I always saw you as a tough guy. And so I'm going to say that you would choose earthbending.
2 for 2. Earthbending is absolutely what I would choose. And it's funny because I was such a nerd about this show, especially with how big into martial arts I was at the time. And so I researched into which martial arts each style was based off of. And fire was actually more based off of Taekwondo than any of the others. But earth I don't know, it just sat somewhere right here with me forever. I mean, maybe it's because my favorite character is an earthbender, but I've always been an earthbender from day one.
I could see you coming out and just being like, the boulder, and boom, boom.
My favorite move, like animation-wise, probably in the entire series, is I think it's in the Blind Bandit episode, but it's when Toph like throws her wrists forward and then throws her fingers forward and like moves rocks twice. And I always thought that was the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen. Like the amount of times I did that as if it did anything, countless, absolutely countless. For you, it's hard, right? Because, okay. So I kind of thought the same way. I thought of just you in general and in different preferences and likes in different series and different platforms. So I chose water for you.
Put a point up on the board.
There we go. Yeah. I know you're a water boy and you always have been. So I thought that
my powers are unleashed in the water.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so 2-1.
Water is my thing for sure. I mean, if you had like just thought like, what's Garrett's favorite Pokemon type? It's water, so it's easy to go to that. But yes, I think water bending, as far as the animation goes and the element itself, is very versatile and like very graceful, and I like that one.
Totally. Yeah. Okay, so 2-1. Question number 3. Who does your co-host think had the best redemption arc in the series? And I feel like, given your favorite character, the first thing I thought of was Zuko, and I should have thought of that as your favorite character as well, meaning-wise. But I don't know who else it could
You
be.
would be. Is that your official guess?
It is.
You would be incorrect. My friend.
Really?
My favorite redemption arc in Avatar is Sokka. I think that Sokka starts as a misogynistic piece of shit and becomes a leader and respecting women, and you get to see him change his attitude about everything and like humble himself. And the episode where he goes out and learns how to sword fight is one of my favorites. It's like, that is, I think, the payoff for his redemption arc is that like whole episode of like, becoming, he's the only one that doesn't bend.
Yeah.
And he still is the leader. Like, he's the smart one. He comes up with the plans. He makes the inventions. And his relationships are important. I think that him and Suki, think of, would Suki have dated Sokka like from the beginning? No.
I mean, that whole episode was the beginning
with the
of his
Kyoshi Warriors.
Growth. Yeah. And she played a huge role in that, the biggest role in that.
Yes. No, I think Sokka maybe doesn't even get looked at as like a redemption arc, but like it is important to learn to respect women, you fucking animals. Like
totally. Yeah.
And he does it. He becomes a good person.
100%. Yeah. And I couldn't agree with you more. I feel like him starting out as just wanting to be this tough warrior and figuring out that there's so much more to being a warrior than just being the toughest or the best fighter really made his character who he was. So I agree. He's a sleeper redemption arc, but he's probably arguably the most important of the series, redemption arc wise, for sure.
Now boy, like originally I wrote down Zuko because it's like the most obvious redemption arc in the story, but I wonder how much you thought on this one or not. And so to me, and like thinking of you, I'm going to say that you said Aang. I'm going to say that you said Aang had the best redemption arc and overcame the guilt of abandoning his people.
You should have went simpler. I put Zuko.
Dang it.
Yeah.
I overthought myself into a corner.
You did. And Zuko is the most obvious choice, but it's just so good. And, for what it's worth, his redemption arc is nothing without Uncle Iroh. And I just love Uncle Iroh so much. And like all of their interactions and Zuko just coming to terms with what his motivations are and why, and wanting to be his dad's favorite for so long and figuring out how to choose himself, I think is such a cool lesson for all young men to learn, because we all want our dads to be proud of us, right? And some of us have better rolls of the dice in terms of what that looks like than others, but there comes a point where you have to do what makes you happy and find true growth in yourself. And I think as popular as it is, he's just such a cool character, man. He really is.
No, for real. I mean, those lessons never go away. Like, if I'm ever having a low moment or something like that, I can literally think of, it's time you look inside yourself and ask yourself the real questions. Who are you and what do you want?
Yeah.
Like, that's so good.
It's so good. Yeah. And again, it's like, shout out to Uncle Iroh, but Zuko was just lucky enough to benefit from those lessons more than anyone else. So yeah, my choice was Zuko on that one. So we got 3-1?
Yes.
Yeah, 3-1. Okay.
No. It's 2-1.
2-1.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we both got question 3 wrong.
You're right. Okay, question 4. Does your co-host secretly think Zutara, and for those who don't know, Zuko and Katara should have happened? And there's a fan theory that Zuko and Katara should have been the one to end up together rather than Katara and Aang. And there's a lot of points throughout the series that fans try to say was hinting that could have been the case, and could have been the direction they went. So do we think that that's how it should have gone?
What do you think I said? Am I secretly a Zutara fan?
I put hell no for your answer.
That's so funny. That's actually so funny because I literally put like one-word answers next to all of them. Yeah. And on that one, I put fuck no. So that's crazy. You got me. You got even an expletive in there.
That's so funny, actually. That's awesome.
You know me too well. That's really funny. Yeah, no, absolutely not. Katara and Aang all the way. Katang. I don't know what that one's called. Now, do I think that you're secretly a Zutara fan? I think maybe you have a little Zutara in there.
I'm insulted. But, I will say, because it's no. I will say, though, that for myself, I just put no, and I put hell no.
Oh, okay. So, you knew that I was very strongly against it.
I don't think that they should have ended up together, but I do like reading into the fan theories about it because there are a lot of moments and little Easter eggs and things that are throughout the series that are compelling and they're kind of fun. And if nothing else, even not romantically, they do tie Zuko and Katara together. Like people have made the case of like when they dress up as their aliases. Zuko wears waterbending colors and Katara wears firebending colors, and or Fire Nation colors. And there's like little things like that it's like there was clearly supposed to be a connection between the two in some way in their character development. But some people just take it to the point of a romantic connection, and I just don't agree.
See, I literally wrote down, I think maybe a little bit. I think that just the fact that you know those things is the little bit.
It is. And that's why I just put no, because I don't think they're romantically compatible and they should end up together. But I think they clearly did some things on purpose. And I think it's really
we should both get a point for that one.
That's fair.
I'm arguing that, I was never going to say, you're, Zutara, but I think a little bit in there.
Yeah, no, I'll give you a point for that. But at the same time, if Aang ended up alone, I would have killed myself. That would have been the saddest thing I ever watched in my life.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Okay, 3-2?
3-2. Okay, question 5.
Who does your co-host think is the most overrated character? Now, I think this is a tough one. I'm not sure that you would say anyone from Team Avatar as overrated in the show. So I think this was maybe a stretch. I guessed that you said the Fire Lord. I thought maybe you would guess that the Fire Lord is overrated. You like that you could argue he's barely in the show. How evil could he be? We don't see him do that many evil things. So I thought maybe you would say the Fire Lord is the most overrated, but that was again, that's a long shot.
Yeah, no, and it's a good one. It's a good one. Who did I even write? I struggled with this question. Let me see where I wrote that down.
I knew that you would. I have a pretty quick answer.
Do you? I even put. Did I even answer this question? Did I go back to it?
Did you even answer it?
I answered for you. You know what? I'll give you the point because I didn't write anything for myself. I wrote my answer for you. Yeah.
If you did have to answer it, what would is anyone else coming to mind?
Who do I think is overrated? Gosh, there's not a lot of overrated. I don't know if I can think of anyone. I think the Fire Lord's a good argument. I like that. Because he isn't very much in the show. I kind of wish we got more of him throughout the series to really show who he was as a character. We got no development on him. He was just kind of this spooky ghost that caused Zuko childhood drama.
Spooky and evil from the start.
He's a silhouette from most of the scenes he's in.
That's true.
So I'd have to think on that one. For you, honestly, I put a shot in the dark, and I'm sure I'm wrong because this is a hard question. I put Commander Zhao for you.
Okay. I like that choice too. We some villains in there.
Yeah. I just felt like you would think that he's not as big of a deal as they made him out to be. He's scary when you first start the show, but he's very big fish in a small pond. And it's
funny that you say big fish in a small pond because he famously kills the fish in the small pond.
Yeah,
right. Sorry, pal. I did choose someone from Team Avatar. Katara. I do not like Katara.
That's fair.
At all.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
She has her moments. Her little adventure with Zuko is a great episode and is good for Katara. But in general, she bugs the heck out of me. You know what episode drives me fucking crazy is the waterbending scroll where she steals it from the pirates and she's just because she's jealous that Aang is good.
Yeah.
It's he's the Avatar.
Right. What do you expect?
Yeah. I don't know. I think that she comes across as kind of spoiled a lot of the time and not always I don't know, not always good. The Jet episode, she's horribly mean to Sokka.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Katara is like definitely my least favorite of Team Avatar. So if you're a huge Katara fan and you're rating her high, I'm saying that's overrated.
Yeah.
Like, no.
I think, it's funny because I just saw a post the other day of like Avatar prodigy characters, and people were making the case that Katara is the most self-taught bender to have the most success, and like made the case that like she shouldn't have amounted to the things she did because she figured out waterbending almost exclusively on her own.
I'll say this much because I just watched the show. They power scale her like very quickly. For all of season 1, she is not very good
Yeah.
at waterbending.
She's pretty bad.
Then she gets to the North Pole and like trains a little bit, and all of a sudden in the next season she is fucking awesome at waterbending.
Yeah.
So like it is a big jump from like novice Katara to like I'm amazing.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, I answered with Katara.
No,
Not my
I think
favorite
that's a good
character
I
by
think that's a
far.
good answer. Okay, so 4-2.
Okay,
4-2 on
it
that.
is my turn. Let's see. Which villain does your co-host think is the best? Or wait, is it your turn? Did I read the last one?
I think you did, but it's fine.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Oh no, you're
Okay,
right. You're right because I didn't have an answer, so you
Oh,
were
okay.
right.
Which villain does your co-host think is the best? I'm again kind of a little bit of a stretch because how much of a villain is this person? Because there's no character development, huh?
I almost asked you this question because there's a lot of anti-heroes in Avatar that
Oh.
you could consider a villain.
It's
didn't know
funny
how
you
deep
say
we were
that,
going.
but
Yeah.
anyway, for you, I thought maybe your answer, because especially we were like literally just talking about it, I put Combustion Man.
That's hilarious. Combustion Man, and what we were talking about off screen is, and I've never read ATLA comics. I kind of want to, but apparently he is so hell-bent on capturing the Avatar because he lost an Agni Kai when he was a general for the Fire Nation and lost all of his honor. And I want more Combustion Man lore. I think he's a great character, but that is not who I wrote. I wrote Azula. I think
Dang it.
There's a lot of, and I wrote her not only because I love her as a character and I love her fall from grace, but I also wrote her because she's one of the truest villains through and through throughout the show. She has no redeeming qualities by the end of the show outside of losing her fucking marbles. Like she does not care and will not ever care. And I feel like if I was looking at the question as villain, she's one of the few that falls into that category throughout the entire series.
Yeah, and she's one of those characters where every time she shows up, it's like it's going down.
Yeah, she was scary as a little kid.
Yeah, she is scary. Yeah, for sure.
She's really scary.
That episode where they're like tracking them down and they can't fall asleep because they're like right on their trail the entire time. She is like a force of nature in that episode. It is scary. Okay, who do you think I put down
as your favorite villain? I wrote Azula for you too, but I probably should have answered for you first. I wrote a lot of my own answers first, and I think I betrayed my judgment. If I thought about it more, I probably would have changed my answer on this one, but I hope you have a deep cut. I'm excited to hear who your answer is.
My favorite villain is an anti-hero. My favorite villain is Jet.
See, okay. And that's why I was going to ask you about anti-heroes, because I know we both love Jet. I know we both love Jet.
I know.
And I didn't write Jet because of how he kind of turns out, but Jet's awesome. He really is.
I love Jet.
Yeah.
He is a villain the first time that you meet him. And even beyond that, when he finds out that Zuko and Iroh are firebenders, and his eyes get all big and he's like, they're firebenders, he instantly like shifts into like, I'm gonna kill these guys again.
Yeah.
So and Jet only comes across kind of as a good guy towards the end of his lifespan.
Yeah.
Because he like comes with them. I don't think Jet has changed as a person by going with them to like go fight the Dai Li in the underground, whatever. He's still like angry and willing to go kill people.
Yeah.
I think Jet is my favorite villain because of the like ambiguity or the idea that even hating the Fire Nation could go too far.
Totally. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And we see that so clearly on the first episode that we meet him, where he has no moral ground for firebenders. And I think we've had this conversation before, but I also think it shows that there are innocent people in the Fire Nation. that just happen to be born in the Fire Nation and have nothing to do with what's going on. And we didn't really see that before that episode because everything we heard about the Fire Nation was like, they're evil, we don't like them. But
it
they
was
have old
genius of the storytellers to make that Fire Nation guy an old man that like could not defend himself. And like, I wonder if they debated making it a kid, like a little child.
Yeah. I mean, it would have hit the same for sure.
Well, because Jet would have done it to either.
Yeah.
That's what I like about Jet.
Yeah.
If you're wearing Fire Nation clothes, you are a target.
Absolutely. No, that's a good pick. And I agree. You know, as much as we call him an anti-hero, he was never really a hero.
Yeah.
As, you know, he played his cards a little smarter towards the end of the series, but I agree with you. I feel like he felt the same in his heart.
Did Jet just die? You know, it really wasn't clear.
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. Question 7. Which subbending ability would your co-host choose?
I put the same answer for both of us.
I did
so you
too.
know.
Yeah.
Really?
I did.
You want to say it at the same time?
Sure.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Bloodbending.
Metalbending.
Wow. Different.
What did you say? I didn't hear.
I said bloodbending.
Oh no, I put Metalbending for both of us. I thought for sure.
No,
you thought I would choose Bloodbending?
Well, you're a waterbender.
Sure, but like I'm not a monster. Like
I don't know, bro. I feel like if you're trying to be the most OP possible, what else?
No, Metalbending's sick. When Toph comes in on the airship and like puts on the Iron Man outfit and like crawls on the roof, that's awesome.
So cool. I mean, there's so many cool subbending types just in Avatar alone. Like Metalbending's sick, Lightning's sick, Bloodbending is monstrous, but it's sick. Like, I mean, I think Bloodbending for me, it was the biggest shock of a subbending type. Like when you realize that could be possible, you're like, oh my God. Like it got dark for a few episodes.
No, I mean Bloodbending. It gives me the same reaction that of what I like about Jet. Like it's like even waterbending can go too far.
Yeah, it's rough. It's like, was it Amon who? Well, we're jumping series, and I know you didn't finish Korra, but there was a villain in Korra, I believe, that used air to take the air out of people's lungs and murder them that way. Right. And it was like the same thing where you were just like, oh my God. Like you didn't think
that's not Amon.
That's
that. Like season 3. I don't remember. But no, that's not Amon. Amon is the only season of Korra that I've watched start to finish.
1. That's
season
right.
1.
Yeah. And I'm sad they killed him off because I saw a webcomic that he lived that explosion and they didn't bring him back, and I was really disappointed. But anyway, today's not Korra Day. But either way,
today's not Korra Day.
I think, like you said, there's a point where bending goes too far, and Bloodbending definitely kind of tiptoes that line. But like, it's so cool. Like, it's so cool to watch. Really is. Just to like puppeteer people. Like when they first introduced that, I was like, holy shit, dude. Like,
so wait, did you choose Bloodbending as the guess of what I would choose, or for your own answer?
Both. I wrote the same for both.
Right, you said you put it for both of us.
Yeah, and you put Metalbending for both, so neither of us gets a point on that one.
No point on that one. All right, let's keep it going here.
It's funny because I chose the subbending type for you of your favorite bending style, and vice versa, but we were both wrong.
Yeah, that is true. That is pretty funny. I just think there's so many applications for Metalbending.
That's fair. Yeah.
Who would your co-host eliminate first from Team Avatar in a Survivor-style game? And I think that you would vote Aang out, seeing him as the biggest threat. He's like, he's the Avatar, get him out of here. I think that's what you would do. So, vote Aang out.
That's so funny because that's not who I picked. Actually, no, it is who I picked. For that exact reason, he's the Avatar. Who else?
Amazing.
Would you eliminate? Yeah.
Who do you think I chose?
I mean, off of that reasoning, I feel like I'd be wrong, but I picked Toph for you. I feel like, I don't know. I just had a feeling that Toph would make you nervous.
Sweeper.
Toph would make you nervous because unless you're an airbender, she's a real threat. She's not the Avatar.
In challenges.
But like anything that she can feel on the ground, you're kind of fucked.
And she can tell when you're lying. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. And so it's like, unless you can be airborne long enough that she doesn't feel you coming, you're kind of screwed. And I felt like you would think that she was a big threat from that perspective.
Dang, I didn't take any of that into consideration. I chose Sokka for the same reason. I was like strategist. smart, charming. He probably could talk his way through a jury and win the game. And so I was like, no,
It's
goodbye.
true. I mean, the team kind of falls apart plan-wise if it's not for Sokka. I'll give you that. They're kind of all over the place.
Yeah. No, I think I'd be taking the heart of the group out.
Yeah,
But
no, I can't disagree with that.
But with your reasoning there, I'm like, you know what, Toph is of a good decision, and specifically for the lie detector part of it, because like Survivor is heavy with the lies. You got to not get caught.
Yeah, it's true. And she could tell. I mean, you can't, there's no way that you're going to say, oh, I persuaded her to do this or I manipulated her to do that. She's not playing that. So no, for sure. I think it's 5-2. You were kicking my butt. But question 9, which character would your co-host date or marry? You know, I wanted to put different answers for this one, and I did, but I know that I'm wrong, and I know what my right answer is now. But I'm going to be fair, and I'm going to write what I wrote. I wrote Yue for you, but I should have put the same answer for both, because I think I would have been right if I put what I put for myself. But I chose Yue. I felt like, you know, Sokka had some really special connections. He was quite the bachelor in this series, if y'all haven't watched it. And Yue, going back to Commander Zhao being a big fish in a small pond, literally, was a very special character for as short of a time as we had her. And the line of, "What's wrong with you? My girlfriend turned into the moon," is one of my favorite lines of the entire series.
That's rough.
That's rough, buddy.
You would be incorrect. I tried to think about your real life, counterpart. I think that Yue is too nice. And I married someone who is a little bit rougher sometimes. And so that's why I wrote down May.
I was going to guess May if you gave me a second shot. That's so funny.
I wrote down May just based off of my own wife, which I thought was pretty funny. And when I wrote that down, I love my wife. It's all good. But
Zuko loves May.
Yeah, I wrote down May. I need someone who's a little grumpy.
Yeah, Zuko loves May. You know,
yes.
Some people need a May in their life.
For you, my friend, I actually kind of went with a different direction because I did not choose this person based off of who you married. I chose this person based off of who you dated growing up. And Tre, I love you to death, buddy, but you like crazy people. And so I put Azula.
Wow, that's hilarious. Okay, so all correct statements. My wife is not crazy. I finally figured it out.
I did not choose Azula based off of your wife. I did it as a joke based off of
that's so funny. That's so funny. I figured it out later in life to not go with the crazies. But yes, that's a hilarious pick. Azula's a hilarious pick. But no, I did not write Azula for myself.
Yeah, I knew that you wouldn't write it down yourself, but I had to do the joke.
That's so good. No, based on my actual wife and the first person that came to mind that made the absolute most sense to me, I wrote Suki. And I really feel like I married a Suki. For sure.
Yeah, that's fair. Suki was like one of my other thoughts, but I went with May.
And I think Suki, you know, she did certain things for Sokka's development, as we said, but I just feel like you marry someone that makes you better. And I truly feel like I married someone who made me better and taught me to not be intimidated by someone else's success, but use it as a teammate. And I feel like, you know, I married a brunette with short hair. She didn't cut it till the wedding, but I feel like I married Suki in a lot of ways. So Suki was my pick, but Azula's a hilarious pick. That's so good.
No, I wrote down May based off of the one line where he brings her a flower and she's like, "What's this?" And he's like, "It's a flower." And I thought girls were supposed to like this. And she goes, "Maybe stupid girls." Yeah, that's my wife. So
I feel like on the other side of the coin, I feel like for myself, dressing up Sokka in the Kyoshi Warriors uniform, and he goes, "It feels girly." And she's like, "It's a traditional Warriors uniform." And then me going to Biebercella and wearing nothing but Justin Bieber merch, I feel like I'm living that life right about now.
It fits. Isn't it just that funny?
It's on both sides. All right, last question.
I get the last one, and this is a tough one. And Tre, I don't know about you, but this episode ran a little long. I think we might need to push Rocky 3 to next episode.
Yeah, I think so. Because it did run long.
I mean, a bummer because I was definitely looking forward to it is an unhinged movie.
Yeah.
But we will get to that next week, I think, just based off of time constraints.
For sure.
last question, and we can take our time talking about this one with that in mind. If we're not going to talk about Rocky 3, we can
kind of air
flesh
this one out a little bit. Yeah.
Which episode is the best in the entire series?
This is rough, man. This is rough.
It is rough, and it's really rough to try to guess what you would say for this one. There's so many good episodes of the show, obviously. I chose this one because I think that you appreciate like the character arc and also like the martial art part of it and like where strength comes from. I put this is so tough, dude. It's ridiculous. I don't know what you answered for yourself.
Yeah.
And we talk about the show pretty frequently throughout our lifespan. I put down the Firebending Masters, where Zuko and Aang go to meet the dragons. I think that that's a great episode and one that you would like.
That's a beautiful episode. It is not what I put, but I mean, picking one episode out of this entire series is such a shot in the dark. I mean, picking it for myself, let alone you picking it for me, is insane.
I was just thinking, like, what moments would Tre like really appreciate? And I thought that when Zuko's looking up at the fire and he goes, "I understand." Like, I thought that you would like really like get it.
I do. I love that episode. I do. So we should make a compilation clip of all the times we say best versus favorite, because
I know
it happens all the time. And it's so hard to pick one versus the other.
I chose, to be clear on the distinction, I chose what I thought is the best.
No, for sure. Favorite. And I can't disagree with you, because it is one of, if not the best episode. I mean, it's
no, for my pick, I picked what I thought was the best, not my favorite. I put down what I thought was the best.
The best. Gotcha. I put down my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I put down my favorite. I felt like the best was too hard for me to pick, and I could have been there all day. I see how it is. Yeah.
So this is us, man. The subjective take versus the objective take. Let's see what it spews out.
So I have a few favorite episodes of this show.
I feel like you would be crazy if like you didn't. If you had one that was like, this is my favorite and nothing else, that'd be crazy.
So
wait, can I have a second guess then?
Sure.
If for your favorite, I'm gonna say the library.
It's up there, but it's not what I wrote today. I do love that episode though. I love that.
God, I'm gonna flip this chair.
So the episode that I picked for my favorite, and it was one of the first ones I thought of, I love the Blue Spirit episode. I think that episode is so sick. I think Zuko putting on the mask with the dual swords, and that's the one time he uses them, is so sick. And I love it's a really interesting part of Zuko's character arc, because he's on the way to figuring out how to find himself, but he still has that little bit of like, no, I'm going to get to where I want to get to, and I don't give a fuck who I have to go through to get there. And
I love the ending to that episode where Aang is like, do you think we, could have been friends? And he firebends at him. That's referenced when Zuko goes to like try to join the team. He's like, you once said that we could be friends.
Yeah.
That's from that episode. So it's an impactful one to the series.
Totally.
For sure.
Yeah. And today was my favorite. I'm sure if you gave me a week, I probably would have said the library. And I could have said the Blind Bandit. There's so many good episodes. Toph's introduction is one of my favorite moments in that show, and I could watch that episode 100 times and not get tired of it.
Mm-hmm.
But today it was the Blue Spirit.
Great choice, brother.
Thank you.
For wild to choose one from season 1. I'm like still stuck on that. Like wow.
Yeah, I know. What a show. What a show. For you.
What a show.
Just in terms of like, I was thinking of when this show turns corners, and there's a few moments and episodes where the show really takes a turn in terms of theme and how serious it gets, and it kind of goes back and forth. I put the Siege of Ba Sing Se. I think that episode is a big like, no, this is serious business. Like, this isn't 12-year-old kid stuff. This is like life and death of people, and you need to figure it out as the Avatar, because this could be world ending if you don't figure it out.
I would say that you're not wrong with like its pivotal like importance to the show, and with the tone shift like that, because you're not wrong. That's Azula being evil. They're like actively trying to destroy like war technology, which happens later too.
Yeah.
I like that pick, but it wasn't what I put for the best. I think, it's funny. What I think is the best episode of Avatar does not have a single person from Team Avatar in it.
Wow.
I chose the beach. I think the beach episode with Azula and Zuko and May and Ty Lee is the best episode of the show.
Interesting.
The emotional like journey of that episode, and for all of them, and that like final scene of them all going around the fire talking about their problems is one of the best moments of the show, where they're all going, "What are you mad about, Zuko? What are you angry at? What are you angry at?" And he goes, "I'm angry at myself." And this is after he's betrayed Uncle Iroh. This like, inner conflict with Zuko, I think, gets resolved in this episode. And after the beach is when he's like, "I'm going to go join Team Avatar."
Yeah.
You get great lines. You could puncture the hull of an Imperial battleship with that outfit because it's so sharp. Like, that's hilarious. This is Azula being the funniest that she's ever been in the show, where they win at volleyball and then burn down the net, and like your defeats will last for generations. Like, she's hilarious.
Yeah.
But even then, she gets a little bit of insight into what's going to make her crazy at the end with, like, the relationship with her mother. She goes on that whole talk, and it ends on a funny line, but you can tell it still affects her, where she's like, "My mother thought I was a monster." She was right, of course, but it still hurt.
But it still hurt.
Like,
yeah. Yeah. No, it's so true. And I think you mentioned, going off of the idea of it being a pivotal moment in the show, it also made the main Fire Nation characters human, aside from Zuko.
Yeah.
Like, Azula was just evil, and May and Ty Lee before that episode were just her sidekicks, right? They were just her friends, and they were just there to ruin your day, and you didn't know anything else about them. And so I also think it was a really cool way for us to look at them in a different light, because May and Ty Lee are both sick.
No, it might be the only episode in the show where you feel bad for Azula.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's one of those things, right, where like we saw her as this prodigy princess, always favored, always the best, but that comes with a price too. And the whole series, you feel bad for Zuko because you know what happened to him, and Azula, you only see what she presents, right?
Yeah.
And it was kind of the foreshadowing of her downfall, that she's human too, and she has cracks in her armor too, and she doesn't show them very often, but she let those walls down in front of the people that she trusts the most. And I think it's really cool that they took the time to start to flush that out a little bit, because they didn't have to.
No, and I think that the episode ends on a hilarious note, where to resolve the feelings that they are having, they go burn down that guy's house, and they just have a blast doing it. Like, they go do something evil and destructive, and it ends on them like a freeze frame of just being happy.
Yeah,
like, that's hilarious.
No, it's so good. That's a really good pick. And I feel like if you polled like 10 people to pick their favorite episode, no one would pick that one. I feel like that episode is very forgotten. Yeah, just because over the course of the entire show, I feel like someone would have to watch it as often as we have and as much as we have to pick that as an episode. I feel like as cool as it is and as impactful as it is, it's kind of a lost episode in however many episodes are the most popular ones. Like, I've never heard anyone talk about that episode in depth. Really, I'm sure it's happened, but in all the posts I get on my feed, that's not one of them.
I think the one I was going back and forth with is the Ember Island players. I definitely was considering.
I almost wrote that for you. That was my first thought when I thought of what your favorite episode would be. That was the first one I thought of, actually.
That one might be my favorite. There's a difference, right?
Yeah, totally.
I think that the Ember Island Players is the best recap episode of television that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, instead of doing like some sort of montage or whatever, the story of the show is told again through the play, and even then you have to look at the layers of what that play is, and it's Fire Nation propaganda.
Yeah.
And it's like, that episode is really fucking good, dude.
And I know we hate live action anything, but that episode is supposed to come up in this next season of the live action show, and I haven't watched the show all the way through, but I'm really nervous to see what they do with that episode. I really hope they don't fuck that episode up. If there's anything that they should make 1-to-1 episode wise, it should be that one.
No, in that it's awesome because it's a recap episode, but it still has its own character arcs happening throughout it. And getting mad that he's being portrayed by a woman and like, you know, not being portrayed as like, you know, having chemistry with Katara.
Yeah.
I love you like a brother.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like that. So his little story, and Toph's comedic timing is so good in that episode where she's like, I think they're doing a great job. And then it comes and we'll see how you like it. And it's a big muscle
Huge,
guy
yeah.
and she's loving it. Like, that's hilarious.
You know what's even funnier about that is I heard that the first concept arc or art for Toph was that it was supposed to be a huge buff guy, and then they decided last minute to make it a small blind girl to make her character more impactful. And so I think it's even more hilarious that they put that back in to the
her facial expression where she's like gripping the rails and is smiling, I can picture it perfectly because
Me too.
that is like the most ecstatic person that I've ever seen. Like she's living her best life. So, but yeah, that might be my favorite, but I went with trying to defend what I thought was the best episode. And for the reasons I gave, I went with the beach. So yeah, but I think that does it for us today. I'm curious what other people answered for these questions, and you know, I need to hear what you guys think is both the best episode and your favorite.
Totally.
Tell me both. I know that you guys have that distinction, so nail it. What's the best? What's your favorite?
Man, that was a fun one. We could talk about it. We've said it before. We could do whole episodes on ATLA very easily.
Well, take us out, brother.
Friends, family, ladies and gentlemen, TLA fandom. It has been another episode of the SugarSide Podcast, and it was a fun one. I always love getting into the depths of things with my brother Garrett. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. If you are still following Survivor Season 50, let us know in the comments if your picks for the final three are still in, or if you were as devastated at the loss of Christian as we were, and let us know what you think about the celebrity gimmicks this season.
Yep, get ready for Beast Games tonight.
Get ready.
I'm going to be having a lot to say next week. I already know.
Games, I mean Beast Games, I mean, and if, again, let us know your favorite and the best Avatar Last Airbender episode in your opinion, and catch us next week when we cover Rocky 3, where we pity some fools and we get into the deep dive of how silly that movie can be. Guys, it's been another episode of the SugarSide Podcast. I have been Trey, that has been Garrett, and we will catch you on the next one. Stay sweet out there.